Oh, the good old days. How many times have we all heard that? It's been said by about everyone, from teachers to grandparents. But recently I've been hearing younger people around our age saying this little sentiment. Weird, right? It's not we have anything to complain about, and we're not even that old, so what could we possibly be talking about? Oddly enough, it's about the shows that's been airing, or have aired on the Disney Channel. They're not referring to the shows like Wizards of Waverly Place or Hannah Montana, but the older classics like Boy Meets World, Even Stevens, Lizzie McGuire, and even Sister Sister. The differences between these shows, I believe, reflect a change in society, and today I'm going to discuss how the new Disney Channel is actually affecting kids in a negative way. I'll be talking about the main differences between the shows, the influence it has on kids, and the steps that we can take to fix this problem. Even though all these shows are on the same network, they are significantly different from one another. The older shows are more subdued and always contain some type of lesson or moral that was revealed by the end of each episode. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? Like they're all sitting in the classroom, we have that one same core problem, and 30 minutes goes by and everyone's happy. It was cheesy, but sweet. The new ones revolve more around the comedic aspects of life and recycle the same storyline over and over. For example, the classic shows portrayed simpler ways of life. Kids came from average families like you and me, with parents who had regular jobs. More kids could relate to them. I know I did. It wasn't unbelievable for the characters and the audience to be going through the same thing, the same issues. Like teachers who hated them, or procrastinating on a paper, a huge project, or even, applying to college. The newer shows have the characters living in a hotel room with a singing mom, a perfectly normal teenager who moonlights as a famous star, and a family who all have magical powers for some odd reason. The issues they deal with become more unusual as well. Some dealt with crazy fans, magical spells that made the whole family turn into animals or whatever they turned into, or psychic visions that made life more complicated. Life is interesting, but not that interesting. It seems as if the older formula was way too boring or simple for today's audience, so they had to find a new way to keep people interested. Once they garnered the attention, influence quickly followed. They do that with the new formula. Make life crazy and spontaneous, and that way they'll attract more kids. The programming became more comedic and carefree. An article from the Boston Globe describes these tween shows as having a laugh track that is relentless. The old shows didn't. They could be sitcoms, but they always had a live studio audience, or they were just kind of drama comedies. The new shows steadily gained more viewers and produced a new crop of Disney stars that have launched them into the limelight, whom are idolized by kids that watch them. One way that this affects them is through the merchandising, of course. Whether it's the clothes the characters wear, the makeup they put on, or the stuff that they have, kids eat them up. They want it. If they see it on TV and it's like the person they idolize, they want to be the same way. And an online article from Reuters stated that the merchandising aimed at tweens from Disney surged to $2.7 billion from 1 year, when it previously only made $400 million. This shows that anything advertised that is linked to the shows on the Disney Channel will be a selling point among the kids. It also demonstrates how much more materialistic it teaches kids to be, because they only want the product for the association and not its worth. I'm sure you guys know all the little girls have Hannah Montana backpacks or High School Musical this and that shirts and stuff on their notebooks. This is exactly what I'm talking about. The Disney faces are literally everywhere, and it's a little overwhelming. Also, instead of being the role models that they are expected to be, these stars go out and do some not-so-innocent things. I'm sure everyone's heard of the infamous Vanessa Hudgens photo leak, and what was more surprising was what she said about it. In an article from MTV News, quoted her saying that she wasn't sorry for taking the pictures, but she was sorry for getting caught. Yeah, what kind of message is that to kids, Like the kids who love her might encourage them to do some sneaky things, but this time be a little more sly about it so that their parents won't catch them doing it. And after that incident, like, a slew of pictures of Miley Cyrus came out, and that weren't, children friendly. So, like, Miley Cyrus was actually named one of the worst influences 2009 by by this, I read on MSNBC and Yahoo News, but it was from the site that conducted a poll that asked all of its participants to vote, and they voted her, and second was Britney, and third was Kanye, but she was by far the first. Yeah, like, Disney's, actually, all their stars are all friends, and they defend each other left and right, but the reality is they actually go out at night and get hammered, and you guys have seen all the pictures on TMZ and all the other websites. The reality is that a lot of kids do it, like underage drinking and whatnot, but the fact that they're in the public eye will in some small way encourage, like, younger kids to go out and try out this lifestyle. They might wish that their lives were more private, but with fame comes responsibility, and they're responsible for the image that they convey to their audience. All I know is that I don't want these kinds of stars influencing the next generation. I don't think we were influenced in that way, in some great way. Now that I've talked about the problems that come up with the popularity of these shows, there are some possible steps we can take to lead the children of today's society in a better path. For example, instead of buying them the things that they're associated with these shows, you can resist and find something more worthwhile to purchase. Especially with the holidays coming up, if you guys have kids or you guys know anyone who has kids, you know what they're going to want. Like, all this stuff on the Disney Channel, that's probably on their list. So if you're around people who have kids, or they're the kinds of parents who are willing to indulge their children into, like, whatever they want, you can tell them, stop spoiling them so much, and maybe it will turn out for the better. Or maybe just encourage kids to go out and play instead of gluing themselves to the TV, waiting for the next episode of Jonas. Anything is better than having them grow up convinced that they want to be famous so they can be just like the kids on TV. Okay, so maybe I'm getting old, or maybe I'm just really jaded, but the new Disney Channel seems like it's doing more bad than it's good. The difference between the caliber of the shows, the old shows and the new shows, are obvious, and the impact it's made is pretty noticeable. If you think that the new Disney Channel is doing a great job educating the kids of tomorrow, then go ahead and endure the torture that is Hannah Montana. But if you think that this isn't the ideal ways for kids to grow up and learn, then maybe their 15 minutes of fame will finally run out. Thank you.
So, John, what did you think?
I thought your speech was really good. I definitely agree that the new Disney Channel sucks, and it does have some negative influence on kids. And I liked your points that you made about how all these new Disney stars and stuff, like, really, they just want their 15 minutes of fame. I think the only thing that I think you should work on is just not to really digress from the main point that you're making, because a lot of times you start to trail off into giving, like, reasons, trying to make your point. Other than that, it was really good. I liked it.
All right, I like the topic that you picked. I thought the attention device was pretty effective. I also like the language that you have at the end of the speech and the conclusion. It seems like it's really pretty well organized. I think the content is it's a good idea. It's you've got some good illustrations, although I don't think the opening illustrations about the changes between the programs is as well developed as it could be. But later on in the presentation, when you're talking about the lifestyles or the marketing issue, for instance, I thought that that's where you had the strongest argument, and that's where your best proof was. The presentation, you could use a little bit more variety in your voice. Your eye contact's inconsistent because you keep having to look at the notes, and the notes are large enough so that when you do gesture, it seems a little distracting. All right, thank you.